workout will be strength focused. You want to make sure you have at least one dumbbell handy, ideally a moderate to heavier weight, and then we will have a move for the upper body, so if you have options, then a moderate to lighter weight for the upper body movement. If you just have a band at home, I'll give you a few variations for some of the exercises with that as well. So what we're going to do, we're going to work for 8-minute sections, 3 exercises at a time. We will just be setting a clock for 8 minutes and we'll be moving through at our own pace. So you might be a little bit ahead or a little bit behind me, but I'll just kind of act as someone that kind of keeps you on target, as well as just a reminder of some of the movements and how to go about them. First 8-minute set, we're going to do a dumbbell RDL. So this is where you want your moderate to heavier dumbbell if you have it. If you have 2 dumbbells, that would just add some weight for you. We're going to do a goblet squat, and then we're going to do a bodyweight bridge variation. So this first one, if you just have 1 dumbbell, hold it end to end here. We're stretching through the back side of the legs, so pushing the hips back. Second movement, goblet squat, so you're going to bring it up to the chest for our squat. And then movement 3 will be a glute bridge variation, so you will lay your upper body down. We're going to try extending the feet out, bridging up, so you're in a longer bridge position. You're going to feel that a lot more through the hamstrings. If you need to and you're feeling that in the low back or you just can't get the hips up, bring the feet back into you and do more of a traditional glute bridge there. So those are the first 3 movements. We're again moving through at our own pace. If you do have 2 dumbbells and you want to go a little heavier, you could hold 2 for this RDL. The reps are as follows. You're going to do 12 of the RDLs, 12 squats, and then we're going to hold the bridge for about 30 seconds, and then we're going to filter through that. Just kind of count to 30 if you don't have a clock to watch for that bridge. All right, so here we go. First up is that RDL, and we're going to go 12 reps. So holding that dumbbell, you can have 2, 1 in each hand, or 1, hinging down. If you have a band, go ahead and keep moving. Show you with that band, you would double it up, hold on to the sides, and same thing, pushing those hips back. As you come up, push the feet down through the ground. So you get that stretch at the top. You're going to keep going with the band here. Again, you're doing 12. Once you got those 12, you're going to do 12 goblet squats. Again, as you come up out of that, whether you have the band or dumbbell, really kind of push down through the feet as you come to the top, hips underneath shoulders. Once you got that, we're going to go to the squat. So dumbbell at the chest, or again, if you have a band, you can bring it up to the shoulders. Just kind of throw your thumb there, and then go through your squats. 12 squats. So this, or a dumbbell at the chest, like I showed earlier. 12 squats. Breathe as you go. Once you got those 12, you're going to lay back. And if you have a clock you can look at, you can time your own 30 seconds. And I'll keep time as well. So you can try extended, lift the hips, dig the heels in, breathe through. And again, if that's starting to feel like you can't hold, or you're feeling low back, just bring the feet in, go a little bit more into that standard glute bridge. So either one, you got 8 seconds left here. All right, that's 30 for me. And then you go back to that RDL, so back to that first exercise, 12 reps. So you want to make sure as you hinge forward, keeping that neutral spine, flat back. Helps just kind of keep your head neutral, so chin down. As you go down, you don't want to look up, so that causes us to arch your back. Looking just right in front. Stretching the top, that hamstring out right up into that hip. Once you got those 12, we go into our squats. Breathe as you go. Remember, hips down, ideally lower than the knees, down to those heels. Once you got those 12, you're in that bridge. Again, extended or bent legs. So as you can see, you're gonna get lots of rounds here. So again, if you have weight options, you wanna kind of try and push the weight here. It's okay to take a rest. I'm going a way lighter weight, so I can just kind of move from one thing to the next, but definitely push the weight if you can. Take time in between to rest and recover if you need. Such that the reps, you can just keep counting on your own. You don't need to worry about going with beat. All right, that's 30. We're back to the top, back to RDL. So in RDL, you're lowering from a top position. You're stretching out that hamstring up into the hip and glute. As you come up, the hips come underneath. You can get a little squeeze on that backside. But your core stays neutral, so you want to think ribs stay right on top of those hips. Tension through the upper back, so I'm going to keep those shoulders back. I got one more here. Then we go into that goblet squat. So again, dumbbell at the chest or that band up at the chest. Push up out of that hole. Breathe. Make sure you're counting all the way up to 12. And we're into that bridge. So we have just under 3 minutes left. So like I said, you're gonna get enough reps in, enough rounds. Up. Breathe. Sometimes you just gotta focus on what's working and then breathe through it. Keep digging in those heels, keep squeezing those hips up, pressing the hip bones evenly. Again, if you start to lose it, just bring the feet a little closer. You'll get a little bit higher with the hips there, a little bit more into the glutes than those hamstrings. And good. All right, bring it back down. So we're on track to get about another round and a half in, maybe one round here. So starting from the top. Sometimes too, as things start to fatigue, you just need to be more diligent about how things are moving. So I know when I start to fatigue, my back wants to start working for me to stand me up. Really need to keep focused on those hamstrings getting long, pushing through the ground, hips pulling back up together, hamstrings helping me stand up. Not trying to stand up with my shoulders, but stand up with my hips. Okay, once we got those 12, into our squat. Breathe it out if you're going a little heavier. Now the hips go down towards the ground. Now we should feel more through the quads. Breathe. Almost there. Oh, perfect. Coming up on our last 30 seconds here in just a few seconds. All right, now good job. This is going to end us here. So I have a 30-second bridge to the end. And kind of walk out from there. Halfway there. Oh yeah, 10 seconds. Keep pressing down, lifting up. All right, whoo, bring yourself out of there. I'm gonna sit up and kind of just stretch my hamstrings a little bit. Whoo, a lot of backside. Okay, now we're gonna go more into an upper body and core. So same deal, we're gonna do 3 exercises, 8 minutes. All the reps will be at your own pace. We're gonna do a single arm row, a curl to press. So we'll have a right, left, and then we're gonna finish with a lateral bear crawl. So with the weights, and again, you can do a row with a band in the bent over position. We're gonna go wide with our feet, get in that hinge that we did from the RDL, support yourself with the other arm, and then row. So again, you go a little bit heavier if you have the option, because you're supporting yourself. You can kind of use this other arm to push in to pull up. So we're gonna do each side. Then we're gonna do a curl to press. So this is where if you have a slightly lighter dumbbell, you might find you need that to go overhead. We'll do each side, and then we'll finish with the lateral bear crawl. So you're setting up that bear crawl position, float the knees, push through the ground, and then you're gonna go a few steps right, a few steps left, and just kind of go through that. You always have the option of just holding, and that'll be our 30-second as well. So we're gonna do 8 each side of the first 2 exercises, and then 30 seconds of that bear crawl. Here we go. Starting with that bent over row. So wide feet, one hand down supporting yourself and rowing with the other side. So flat back, weight in the hips. Once you got 8, hit the other side. So elbows should drag close to the body. You should feel that shoulder blade move more to the center and then reach out at the bottom. Once you got that, I would go back to the other arm, switch weights if you need. We're going curl to overhead press. Good, so controlled, curl it up, press straight under, think knuckles to the ceiling. Remember the number's 8. Once we got that 8, the other side. And then you have the bear crawl. So if you get ahead, that bear crawl is 30 seconds. And you can just kind of alternate left, right, a few steps each way, or just hold 30 seconds. So again, on that press, I want my elbow to kind of stay underneath that wrist as I reach overhead. Okay, so if you had a band for that curl to press, you could just do 8 curls, 8 overhead presses. So it's gonna be too hard to transition to that curl to overhead press. All right, 30 seconds here. Back clock. So again, just trying to make this as smooth as you can. That back stays parallel to the ground, just kind of floating across. We're at halfway. All right, right there. All right, we're back to that bent over row. So again, show you with the band. If you weren't quite sure, you just kind of step, get in that same bent over position. Okay, you just want to have maybe the support. If you have to hold on to the band, you could drop one depending on your band there. So again, you'll still get 8 each side. You're gonna let that elbow come back towards you. So you don't want any weird wings over here. Once we have that 8 each side, overhead press. So again, if you had a band, just hit the 8 bicep curls and then hit 8 overhead presses. I'm going to continue with my dumbbell here. So looking to make each side even. Other thing while you're doing these overhead presses, I want you to just take notice of that rib cage. So as we press, try to leave it right where it is. You don't want, as you press, to lean back and open that up. So get both sides for me. Awesome, almost there. Again, if you're ahead, hit that bear crawl, just like you're floating across the ground. Okay, we have 30 seconds in that movement. Again, option to hold is always there. All right, here we go. So you can kind of self-check yourself. You want the knees right above that ground. Think about the hips and knees staying fairly stacked, so you're not flaring out that leg too much. And there's 30. Great. Let's get one, probably about one more set in here, depending on where you're at. So I'm gonna bend over. That row should be coming from the ground, right by your toes. Straight on back. Now come from the side. Once you got that 8, other side. Elbow stays close. Okay, once you got that 8, and ideally you want to switch. So you'll see I row with the right, row with the left, and back to the right. So that way that other side's kind of resting while we go through this side. Just a little more, and I'll be switching. Okay, I'm gonna switch. Now we might be slightly different. Knuckles up, follow it to the ceiling. And you punch that ceiling up there. Good, so we're in our last minute and a half. Okay, and hit that bear. Put it up. Again, traveling as equally as you can. Don't get too caught up in which hand and which leg. Just think about floating across, not any shifting left or right through that torso, keeping knees close to the ground. That's 30. Okay, we have just enough time. You're gonna hit one set of rows here, or wherever you're at. Coming up on the last 30 seconds. We're gonna have one more 8-minute group. Pull back. And think about hanging out at that top for a split second. That good squeeze at the top. Once we got that, that's gonna ding. Awesome. Okay, so now we're gonna finish with, we had some bicep and some presses. We're gonna finish the back of the arms here for triceps. We're gonna do skull crusher on the ground. So you will need that moderate to heavier dumbbell, and then we'll do 2 core specific exercises. So the first two are going to be 12 to 15 reps. Now if you do not have a dumbbell, I will show you an option that you can do with your body. So here, bending at the elbows. We've done this plenty in the virtuals. If you've done other workouts, you might have seen this one so far. So we're gonna hit that. That's where you can go a little bit heavier if you have the option, because you're using both hands. If you do not have a dumbbell, flip over and you can do a tricep push-up. So you can do that from the knees, or you could do that from the toes. But I would say if you can't do roughly 10 good push-ups from the toes, I would go to the knees for the tricep one. Elbows are close, just have a little less help. So we're gonna do that. Then we're going to do reclined reaches for the core. So think almost like a Russian twist. We're gonna dig those heels in. We have a nice long spine here. So we're opening up, we're leaning back. I have that tension here. I'm gonna reach and rotate. So as I pull back, I'm also reaching this other arm. And really focus on that reach and that pull. You're gonna get more out of it. At first it seems silly and you're like, yeah, really reach, really pull, and that'll get that twisting movement and that tension through the middle. And then we'll flip over. We're gonna finish with plank jacks, 30 seconds. If you can't have the impact tap side to side. All right, so triceps are first. Last 8 minute here, remember 12 to 15 skull crushers, 12 to 15 of those reach and rotations total, and then flip over 30 seconds of the plank jacks. Here we go. So bending at the elbows, pushing back up to the top, so the elbow stays right stacked above that shoulder, pointing towards the ceiling. Again, you could do tricep push-ups. And again, I would suggest probably ending up on the knees, depending on that strength level with the tricep push-up. Ow, don't go too low, you'll hit your head. Okay, and then we come up, in a nice reclined position, reach, twist. Kind of stick it. Okay, plank jacks. So you can do this hands, you can go to the forearm, a little bit harder on the forearms. Out and in, try not to let your booty bounce. Keep that chest on top of the hands. Breathe, exhale from that stomach so we have tension there, holding tight. Hold on to it. Okay, that's 30. I think my math might have been off. All right, we're going back to the skull crushers or the tricep push-up. I can always make up for it the next set, I guess. Again, 12 to 15. So you kind of know based off your weight, if you have a lighter weight, you might have to go more reps to get that muscle fatigue. If you have a heavier weight, maybe that lower rep. You want to go until you either can't do it or you're not doing it with good form. So you're just kind of trying to muster your way through it and use other things. Once you got those 12, recline, reach, twist. Keep the knees and the hips facing up. Don't let the lower body move. We're really trying to resist that lower body moving as the upper body is creating that movement. Okay, and then we're gonna hit that 30 seconds. So again, lock that chest right on top of the hands. And here we go. Out and in, again, little bounce to the lower half, creating tension through that stomach. Out and in. Doing those tricep push-ups, make sure our hips aren't back here. We want to be knees behind, hips in front, elbows grip the ribs as you come down. Grip the ribs. Get you 12. Woo! That's a little tougher after I'm already fatigued from the skull crusher. Okay, once you got those triceps, again, that recline, so lock the hips, lock the knees and toes. That movement comes from the upper. Rotate, those shoulders should change directions as you push and pull. Stay long, stay tight. Awesome. Look at that. Oh, plank jacks. Oh, I almost forgot them. So find your time. If you're going with me, we're going right now. Out and in. Try not to push too far back so I start to see this. If you can look way in front at your hands, we're not in a good core position. Your core's actually not doing much there. Your shoulders are. And your hips. A little bit more. Ugh. Woo! All right, so we still have time. We just have over 2 minutes left. Back to those triceps. Remember, there's nothing after this, so we're just going all out these last few minutes. Keep bending, push up, push up. It's 12 to 15. High reps there. Good. Reach, rotate, stay long through the back. Make sure you're counting. Reach, rotate. Woo! We're jacking. Gear up in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. If you're with me. Keep it up. A little more. Hang tight. Woo-wee. There we are. All right, looks like we're gonna have time for one more exercise. If you want here, you can always pick a favorite. I'll stay with the program here. Finish up. Just a few more reps and you'll be all set. See what we got time-wise. Keep going, guys. Let's see, we should be almost there. Oh yeah, there you go. That's that last 8 minutes. So, awesome work. Hopefully you're able to focus on some movement quality, get some weights in, and enjoy the rest of your day.